everyone. I'm trying to do a quick video here, hopefully. I've been working most of the summer on a snippet roll swap. I've always wanted to do a snippet roll. I've never really get around to it unless I do a swap, it seems like. So there's only 7, but we were doing, it's really a snippet roll piece swap, because basically we're going to take all our pieces from the swap members and put them together to make one longer roll. Because the hostess is doing quite a few of these, and so she wanted a little bit more manageable numbers. So they're really for 8 to 12 inches. I don't do good with small, so mine are bigger than normal. Mine are more like 12 to 16 inches on some of these. But so this is how I'm going to kind of display them when I send the packages out. These are little tags so that I can put a little tag on each, and my name, you know, and contact info is on the back. But I'm addicted to little scrappy tags, and basically I don't think mine are done exactly. I take it quite literally when it says snippet, so most of the stuff on mine, except for a few embellishments, is mostly scraps I have left over from other stuff. I just find it deeply satisfying to use up scraps and make something neat out of them. So I'll push these aside. So we'll go through this. Anyway, I'm really obsessed with these little bees right now, these little felted bees. So I made a little pouch thing that kind of goes around it to kind of keep it folded, so that this will be the way I'll kind of present them, so I can keep my package a little bit more flatter. But I'll take that off. So here's one. Move these a little bit more over. Okay, so anyway, I just kind of stitched down some scraps, and then I don't have a real plan with anything. I just start stitching little bits of things on there and kind of work with the color themes. I made a couple of hexagons. I have kind of a little bit of a cheater way of doing these. I try to do it the quilter way. I'm not that talented. So I took some vintage lace. It's not even vintage, it's just lace, but it had a lot of cutouts, and I just kind of stitched in the middle. I just kind of wing it as I go, but to me it looks like vintage fabric now. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the color thread I used, but here's this. I added some beadwork. I added a little bee on there. Anything that's got the hexagons, I try to add a bee, because I really am into this bee theme right now, I guess. So there's that one. This one was one of my favorites. One of my favorite things to do in the world is make flowers. This was not a really truly handmade flower. It's just a, you know, cut it off of a spool flower, but I added snippets of thread and stuff, and a jewel in there. I don't know. I love using thread snippets. It's one of my favorite things. So this one's probably one of the little bit shorter ones, but I didn't do the really traditional kind of shabby chic look that most people do. I just use whatever things are in my bucket, and I kind of did a little bit of a controlled color theme, but I really like pops of black. This is the kind of stuff that's a little bit more my aesthetic, I guess. I added some beading. I just kind of stitched on what fabrics were on there. Some things are just scraps, and I don't know. I call this scribble stitching. I'm just kind of stitching on it and scribbling it. Because I like that grungy, you can't control me look, I guess. So there's that one. Here's another one. I'll do the bees first. I have 4 that have bees on them. Okay, I'll take that one. Anyway, there's a little holder. Oh, and these are little keychain, or these are little links off of a chain that I used for my attachment. This was the second one I did. I wasn't super thrilled with the layout on this one, I guess, but I just kind of winged it. Although I do like I did make some little ribbon flowers down, though. I really like those. That was good practice to do that. And I didn't make these. They came with the bees. But they look kind of neat when they're stitched down. So anyway, there's some more of that. One more bee. Ooh, this is one of my favorite fabrics. I love fabrics with script on it. So that was fun. Put that together. Okay. So this one, again, I just take little snippets off of vintage fabrics and stitch them on. I don't feel satisfied until I've got a bunch of stuff hanging off. It's just, I don't do good with rectangles. So that was kind of my thing. This was part of an embroidered, maybe it goes this way. This was kind of an embroidered towel or something. I can't remember, or napkin maybe, but I just kind of made a little embellishment out of that. I'm also into this really meshy like fabric, so I tacked a lot of those down. This one was really fun. I cut this out of fabric and made a little embellishment, and I just slow stitched around it basically. That's from a little piece of chenille. This was actually the leftover of one of those big pink fluffy ribbon flowers you buy off of the spool. I had half a flower and I didn't know what to do with it, so once I stitched it down it looked more like trim, so I think it looks kind of fun. So there's that one. And then this was a shorter one. I was really wanting to try an Asian theme. I found this one challenging to, because I didn't really have the right kind of stuff for it, so I just used Asian fabrics and kind of made my own little embellishments. So I think it's the Asian text I like. This one was really neat because I used a really dark fabric and I used darker thread on this one. So this is a really different look from the other ones I did. Basically, put some buttons on there. That's really all there is to that one. I'm going to save that last one, autumn one, last. Here's another one of these. This one was my real scrappy stuff. I don't know what it is. I just cut things off and I can't get rid of them. For some reason, certain pieces call to me. This was a piece of Battenberg lace, and I just kind of look and see what I can do. And so I stitched down some fun fibers over that, and it kind of made it a little bit more contemporary looking now, I guess. I stitched around some round circles that were off of a sheer piece of fabric. I cut that off of some lace there. I couched on some more of those funky fibers there. I put the flower on. The flower is more the central focus, I guess, on this one. And this was actually the first one I did, because before this, every snippet roll I ever made looked like it was just a piece of trim for a junk journal. And it was taking me a while to figure out how to actually embellish it and to make it look like it's not a border. So this one was the one I really kind of experimented with, and it ended up being longer than the rest. So it's, I experimented with some different types of flowers. This was really my attempt at yo-yos. I'm not a real good yo-yo person, so I put filling in them, and I attach them upside down, and then I just use this segment to make the little flower segments. But I really like that look. I think I used cheesecloth on these. This looks like cheesecloth, but I thought I did that on another one, but this is a technique I really want to keep using. I think it's fun. So, and this was just a little teeny tiny scrap. It was getting really beat up off of some piece of lace, and every time I saw the little wagon wheel shape, I'm like, I need to use it. So I love scrappy stuff. That's all I can say. These are just fibers that I stitched down that were out of my Ravel jar from when I tea dyed muslin. So stuff like that, I can't let it go. So this makes this kind of project makes me happy, because I can kind of figure out how to kind of repurpose that stuff. So, oh yeah, there was that. And then these, I'll just put a little bit of more of a close-up on these. These are really some of my favorite things. I love making little heart tags out of fabric, but I spend hours researching different ideas and layouts, because I don't feel like I'm a real layout person. And I'll spend hours researching that stuff on Pinterest, and then at the end of it, I don't follow any of the ideas I see. I just start grabbing stuff and gluing and going from there. So I kind of glue them down temporary, and then I stitch them down. But there's little card bases, and I just made them all kind of different. But most of the thing is, I really like the quilted look. So I use little pieces of felt here and there, thicker felt, to kind of, and I like it because I can use it and I don't have to cover it all up. I can let the edges show. But I use that thick, like, I don't know, like 3 to 5 millimeter felt that they use for felting for my hearts. These are always my favorite. I don't have any plan. I just start putting things when I like it. I start stitching it down. But no real plan. These colors shouldn't work together, but I think it looks interesting. So anyway, that's my work that I've been working on for the summer. So anyway, thank you so much.